Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. My name is Pat with Like Attracts Like Evolution Mentorships, and I'm so grateful that you are here with me. We're going to have a little bit of fun today, and we're going to talk about how to become a master manifester. What does that even mean? What do I need to know? Why might you be a little skeptical every time you hear that word, or a little confused every time you hear that word, because it doesn't appear as though you or people that you know are actually doing this the way that it is shown to you in movies or presented to you in books. What can we do to actually close the gap to become a more deliberate creator of our own life? Stick around, we're diving in deep when we come back. All right, so let's just jump right in. What even is manifestation? What is a manifester? What does that mean? And essentially, for the context of this video, what we're talking about here is literally the idea that we are going to take something from our imagination, something that doesn't exist in the physical world yet, whether that is materialistically or experientially. We're going to take that from our mind's eye, and we are going to bring it into this 3D physical world, your life, for you to walk through and use and experience. That's what manifesting really is. And it gets its woo-woo attitude because when we say thoughts become things, which is really the representative model of what a manifester would be doing, taking a thought and turning it into a thing, there's one thing that kind of separates everybody from believing this and wanting to apply it in their life or not. And that is the length of time that it could potentially take to bring this thought into the idea of your reality. So the longer it takes, the less magical it is, the more the mind and the collective consciousness says, that's woo-woo, that's garbage, that's BS, don't buy into that, that's just some self-help, esoteric garbage. But the truth is that every single thing that you are interacting with inside of your day, outside of nature, and even that's up to debate, depending on who you ask, is the result of someone manifesting it into their life. Every single thing that you see, when you can sit with it for a second and realize that it initially started from some human's mind. It initially at some point didn't exist, and it was brought into reality. So what is the process of doing that? How can we better use this process again to more deliberately create our life? The reason that some people might be a little confused or skeptical, as I was years ago with this process, is because sometimes when we look at the reality that we're living in before we know how this process works, we can't possibly believe that some of the components of our life we deliberately created. There's no way that I manifested this or this or this. We would only essentially take credit for the positive things that have come to light, or some of the more what you might call magical things that popped into our reality unexpectedly or coincidentally. So if you can look at it this way, that the mind and the unconscious version of our experience only looks at manifestations as something wanted that comes into your reality. Something that you like, I want to have this, I want to have that, I want to have that. Like, we're thinking about all the amazing things that we want. And if they show up, then we're living this life that was, a manifestation of us, and we're this powerful creator. And so when these things don't magically pop up and appear all the time, it creates this skepticism around the understanding of what the word manifestation even is. We think it's woo-woo, and then we back off of it and we just accept the life as we've been walking through it. And that's just the way life is. When in fact, the power comes from when you can realize that you are always manifesting. You can't not be. So you want to be a master manifester? This is not clickbait. You are the best there is. You are the best manifester that there is, along with every other human being. Also, all of us equal. We just have different degrees of belief about this process as we walk through our unconscious life. So the power comes when you can realize, I had to realize that I was manifesting all the great things that I wanted. Yes, those were manifestations. I read the book and I check, I'm doing it. But then this horribly unwanted thing would pop up in my life, and I'd be like, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. This is garbage. I didn't ask for this. What was happening is everything that I was saying I didn't want was also manifesting. It's not just what you say you want that comes. It's the energy behind the thoughts that you think. It's the energy behind the words that you say. So if I'm saying, I don't want to be late, I don't want to be late, I don't want to be late, I hope I don't hit traffic, I hope I don't hit traffic, you are sitting in the experience of I don't want. You think the universe knows what you're talking about and says, they don't want to be in traffic, let's clear the road. That's not how it works. And when you kind of realize that's not how it works, you will really be able to dive into some deliberate creation in a very powerful way. The problem is we've been conditioned to think like this. We've been conditioned to focus on what we don't want. We've been conditioned to read all of the negative, horrible, terrible things that happen in the world and newspapers, one after the other, just shoving into your face. We're designed and programmed and conditioned to focus on these things that we don't want, that keep you in a fear state, that keep you scared, that keep you in lack. And then, since it's not part of our natural state, it gets stored in your subconscious, it gets stored in your body, and we ignore it. We push it down below our consciousness, our 5% experience that's aware of everything. But it's still there under the surface. That belief system, that energy, that emotion is still there, that unwanted. And when we aren't powerful enough in our own mind to look at that and release it, it will manifest itself in your world, in your reality for you to walk through. But again, if you're not allowing yourself to be aware of that story, then when it appears in your life, you're going to be like, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. But if we really, really sit and look about the things that we say, really, really dive in and write out some of the things that we say that we don't want to admit that we say about the life that we expect to live, you'll find out that 100% it lines up every single time. We just have to take responsibility. We have to be brave enough to take responsibility and be like, I do say that. I 100% say that. I don't think that relationships work out for me. I don't think money is easy to come by. I think life is very, very tough. I think this, I think that, blah, 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 condition, condition, condition. When you ask yourself this very powerful question, and that is, where did that belief come from? Where did it come from? Who was the first person that told you life was tough? Who was the first person that told you it's got to be difficult and you can't enjoy yourself and work, 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 don't ever rest and life is hard and people suck? Where was the first time you heard that? And you'll start to see how this works, this law of unconscious hypnotic rhythm that your subconscious is impressed upon over time, and we ignore what we put there. And then when it pops up because we don't want to be aware of it because we're scared, we deny that we are the creator of it. When you can realize that you're creator of both, the everything you wanted and the everything you don't want, then you can finally take responsibility and shift this. How do you shift it? By doing this. So a master manifester will realize these very powerful, powerful things, two very powerful things. And one is that there are two things happening inside of every single moment. And one is that you are experiencing things that represent your past story that need to be reconciled. They need to be looked at because you weren't looking at them or weren't willing to. They need to be healed. They need to be released. They are the example of all of the unwanted things that you've been pushing down in your subconscious, in your being for however long you've been doing that. They eventually will come up and manifest in your life for you to look at, to take responsibility for, and to change your thought process, to change your alignment to them, to see them for what they were. And that is experiences that represented you giving your power away. And then when you give your power away, then when you see the thing that you're actually powerfully creating, you deny it. So once you start to reconcile and recognize these things as being your creation, it's not powerless in fear, it's powerful and transformative. You, through this process, can transform through those things by looking at them and releasing them. That will give you more energy and more awareness on the current moment that you're in. So less and less of those past experiences will pop up and manifest in your life for you to say, this doesn't work, I would never ask for that. The second thing that's happening in every single moment is that there's going to be something new based on your higher self calling or your intuition that's going to be presenting you with options to take that represent maybe what you're here for, your purpose, your heart, your soul, whatever passionate thing that you've been pushing down and blocking for so long, that never stops calling you. And things will manifest in your life to kind of lead you on that path too. The path that you take will be the one that you give the most attention to. So if your story is things don't work out for me, nothing comes my way, opportunities are hard to come by, then when an opportunity comes to you that represents the next step you need to take, you might not even be aware of it. It might just repel right from you, come in and out, or you are going to continuously walk down the path of the things that you don't want because that's what your story represents. So the second thing that is happening in every single moment is you are being guided by your intuition. You're being guided by your heart and by your soul. And there are components to that which you have imagined. You have been dreaming of them. You have been wanting them to come in to view. There are things that you have been wanting to manifest in your life. But what happens is, again, it's not what you think, it's what you feel about what you think. That's what you create. So even if you are thinking about things that you want, in your conscious realm here, in your conscious vision, but you are feeling icky about it because you don't feel worthy of them, you're going to create the ickiness, not the thing. So there's some people who are like, I think about what I want all the time. I think about this and I think about this and I want to be this person and I want to have this much money and I want to be with that person. But if you are thinking those amazing things, but because of a belief system, you don't believe it's going to happen, actually, like it's the belief that connects the gap. So if you don't believe it, how will you feel when you're thinking these great things? Terrible. You're going to feel terrible. Why would you feel good about thinking of something amazing and then not believing you're going to get it? It's torture. It's literally the definition of human suffering, is attachment to a belief system that prevents you from feeling good about something that you came here to imagine and be. So we have to imagine the thing that we want and do what Neville Goddard would call live in the end. You have to live in the end of it by imagining, what you can do, that you already have it. It's already done. Have faith and trust that just like you're creating all the bad things that you don't want and they effortlessly pop up, when you shift your attention to focusing on what you want and feeling good about it through this inner belief system that you can cultivate, you will also see things pop in just as magically as all the negative things pop in. It's what you focus on expands, but it's also, this is the part they left out, it's how you feel about what you focus on that creates the experience. So the tip and trick of the day, focus on what you want. Be very deliberate. Write it out, literally get specific about what you want. And then when the old belief systems come in that represent all of that subconscious purging, do your best to choose to feel alignment with the thing. Believe that it's going to happen. Now, I can't tell you that it's going to pop up instantly like the secret wants you to digest for yourself, but I will absolutely tell you that you can bring it into reality and into existence. If you need any more evidence than me suggesting this to you, look around you. There isn't a thing that is in existence that didn't come from someone's ability to do this exact thing. And if you're saying that's not me, I can't do it, that's a belief system, and that's absolute bullshit. You absolutely can do this. It's the belief that you have that you can't, or that it's not worth it, or it doesn't work out for me. That is just a belief system. It is not real, even though subjectively I understand it feels very real to you. You can choose to disregard that. So again, just to recap here, if something comes up in your life that is unwanted, it is still a manifestation. You manifested something unwanted. And to release that, you have to go into the unconscious, subconscious shadow version of you that's been repeating things that you don't want to admit you're repeating, of the story of you that would actually allow something like this to come in and create. It's not designed to suffer or for you to suffer. It's designed to shift you away from things you don't want. So you start telling the story of what you want. Once you start telling the story of what you want, you have to believe and emotionally connect with what that is. Otherwise, you're going to get the not of it. You're going to get the icky feeling of it. You're not going to get the thing. And this is where the confusion comes in. You came here to be a powerful manifester. There isn't a human being in the world that is not taking thoughts from their mind and then creating some kind of a reality based on the life that they're thinking. The trick is to understand that you are more powerful than you thought, that you are not subject to the world and its creations, that you can have your own subjective reality apart from the collective reality that you walk through. You will literally be able to raise in your conscious experience, physically and non-physically, the more you create momentum by doing this process. You have the power to do absolutely all of this. You just have to give yourself permission to do it and be more deliberate with the thoughts that you think each and every single day. And that is what I wish for each and every single one of you. If you are looking to dive a little bit deeper into this one-on-one with me and shift some of these patterns and these belief systems, loosen up some of that resistance so that you can actually start to see more of the amazing things pop up and appear in your life, and then also easily transition through some of the unwanted things that represent your past story, there is a link wherever you are listening to this or watching this. You can apply for the one-on-one 6-week mentorship with me personally. It is designed to heal and transform your past and actually get you to the place where you can sit in a space where you will be able to deliberately create your life from here on out. So until next time, have an amazing day, a wonderful night, and I'll see you then.